So finally, I was able to book in a test drive of a Tesla Model 3, the new version, and I was fortunate enough to get a performance version for test drive. Firstly, let's talk about how do you book a test drive. So you have two options to book in a test drive. First one is you go online and book in a test drive via your online browser or via the Tesla app. And the second option is you can visit the Tesla showroom that you want to test drive, or you can give them a call to book in a test drive. I would recommend, if you have any special requests, let's assume you want to drive a particular model car and it's not available, or when you're booking online and you are short on the time that you want to sort of book in the test drive, I would recommend just give them a call. They are more than happy to help you out with your test drive needs. In my case, I was in the vicinity of the Tesla showroom, so I decided to drop in to get my first impression on the Tesla Model 3 new version. But the person or the representative from Tesla was sort of telling me or directing me towards maybe it's a good idea to even give it a test drive. But unfortunately at that time I didn't have enough time, so I booked in for a weekend early morning, and the only car that was available during that time was a long range. But I did let him know that I'm keen on driving the Tesla Model 3 Performance. So he suggested that usually they open like 40 minutes to an hour early than the official test drive starts. So if I really want to test drive the performance version and I wouldn't mind coming a bit early, he would be able to accommodate my request of driving the Tesla Model 3 Performance. And boy, oh boy, it was just amazing the way the car looked, because it was in a blue color, which is one of my favorites when it comes to Tesla's new version. And it was I would say it's not like you would be able to spot the difference if you're not into the cars or if you're not into Teslas, but the spoiler at the back, the ludicrous or the faster speed sign on the rear end of the car is cool enough. The tires are different. It just looks sporty, and that was just the beginning of my experience. When it comes to the design aspect, it's different from the standard range of the new Model 3 in the sense of the seats are different. There's that ludicrous badge on the seats, the faster car design, as well as the seats are a bit more, I think, sporty. It could be just me first time sitting in a performance car, but it felt like they are more like bucket seats. And then came the new interface where you have to actually push the drive on the screen for changing gears, or you can use the top gear bars as well, but I was keen to try the driving gear. So apart from the design aspect, like if you want to see my first impression, just see the video that I uploaded prior to this one where I talk about what's changed in the new Model 3 version. But let's move on to the driving aspect of the Tesla Model 3 Performance. Now, as soon as you sit in the car, I was not keen on driving it on chill mode or anything like that, right? I wanted to feel all the G-force it does have to offer. And all-wheel drive in a Tesla would be fantastic even if you're driving an old version of Performance, but the new version was so much better. Moving on to the driving experience, let's just discuss the elephant in the room. How fast was it, right? That's what I wanted to know. That's what I assume you would want to know as well. Like, how fast does it actually feel compared to a standard range Model 3? Don't get me wrong, like these cars are fast. Like, maybe it's because I'm used to driving a Tesla that I wasn't scared to try the fastest mode in that car. But saying that, it was an entirely different beast altogether. Like, it was so fast that as soon as you push the accelerator, you would be easily reaching the speed limit. Doesn't matter which speed zone you are in, because like this one's not slow at all. Like, it's 5.5 to 100, but since the acceleration doesn't need any gear change, the torque is instant, you don't feel it to be any laggy, and it just goes. But with that, you can feel the head pinning down on the seats every time. And it's fun. It's a controlled fun. Like, I never felt that I won't be able to control the car or control the acceleration of the car. Although I drove it in the city, because the Tesla showroom that we have in Brisbane is located at the outskirts of the city, and we took a freeway route, and it was just a different but similar feeling. And that brings me to, like, what's the difference? As, like, speed aside, what else have changed as far as the driving experience is concerned? So the car that I drove was a performance, but I believe the sound insulation and the way the car drives is similar in each version, right? So you can definitely spot the sound insulation, because I had a friend of mine who was actually sitting in a Tesla for the first time when I picked him up from the airport. And then we had the test drive planned for the same day, so he would be able to see it, how the car feels, and how quickly it can drive. And I actually asked the Tesla rep to add him to the schedule of test drive as well, so he can see and feel what the electric cars have to offer, and especially a Tesla. So he was just amazed by the sheer acceleration and the control that it provided. But saying that, we were talking about, like, would that be similar experience of everyone who drives a Tesla for the first time? And we sort of discussed, which is quite obvious, right? If you're into tech and if you are not concerned or afraid of trying new things, you wouldn't be feeling out of your comfort zone with a Tesla. But if you are not tech savvy, not into tech, doesn't want to learn new stuff, then it might be a different experience for you. But saying that, the gear shift doesn't bother you that much, because that's something which you would be doing when you are stopped and you have time to think. But the indicators took, I believe, 5 to 10 minutes for me to not worry about them. Like, my hands were going intuitively to the place where the indicators were. From time to time, I had to still look at which indicator is which button, but it's haptic feedback. You get a decent amount of response from the button that you would not have to worry about, did I press it or not. Although the soundproofing of the car doesn't help with that bit, because you can barely hear the indicators even at freeway speeds, which just means that you would be able to enjoy a silent drive, which we did. And it's quite evident when it comes to how different the car sounds while you drive it. And maybe because I drive a BYD, which is way more silent when we are actually driving the car, that's why I didn't find it to be that much fascinating that, I need to upgrade my car because the new one is so silent. Because whenever we're driving to a place where we know the road noise is going to bother us, we can always switch to the other car, which is a bit more silent in terms of road noise. But saying that, the acceleration was a highlight of our test drive, and I believe, and you get used to the acceleration. It's not like you're going to use it in every turn of your driving experience, but just to know that you have the capacity or capability to go from 0 to 100 under 4 seconds is something which you need to feel to realize how quick that is. And I can't even imagine how it would feel if you're driving a Model S with 1.9 a second to 0 to 60 miles an hour, or I can't even imagine the Roadster, how quick that's going to be. But I believe even the performance Model 3 was way faster than any of us need in our daily routine. But I understand that if you are transitioning from a very fast sports car, maybe a Porsche or a BMW, then you need your car to be that fast. That's just your driving need, or the way you want your car to be. Then I understand you can easily, I think, depart with $85,000 or something in that range. That's what the new Model 3 performance car costs. But saying that, you have a option for similar performance with BYD Seal, which is I believe 3.7 seconds to 100 compared to 3.1 or 2 for Tesla Model 3 performance. So maybe give that a try as well. But as far as the new Teslas are concerned, I cannot see a better value car when it comes to electric or not. Like if you sit in a car and the way it makes you feel, I believe the Tesla Model 3 standard range would be enough for most of the users. And that's just like my opinion, because I would rather have the option to charge my car to 100%, which you would be able to do when you're driving a LFP car, which is in the standard range model or the Tesla Model 3 without the performance or long range update. That's just my opinion though. Like I'd rather use that feature where I don't have to worry about plugging my car to 80% each day and only when I'm driving far I do 100%, than using the quicker speed, right? Like if the performance and the long range had LFP, maybe I'll still go with long range that's just a bit more quicker but have longer range. But saying that, the looks of the performance, the way it presents itself, and if you want the top spec of a car, like if you are someone who just want to buy the best the company has to offer in a particular model, then obviously you can go with performance model. Otherwise, I would still suggest that for most use cases, Tesla Model 3 standard range would be enough. And for 55,000 before on roads, I don't believe there's any other car which comes close to providing the brand value, the reliability of Teslas in Australia, as well as the customer service. And if you had a chance to drive a Tesla Model 3, and if you have some of your experiences that you would like to share, feel free to reach out to me in comments, or let me know if there's anything else you would want me to try. Is there a particular car that you want my opinion on? Particularly, I think a PHEV or a EV would be, I think, my choice when it comes to test driving cars. And in future, I plan to go for regular test drives of the new upcoming cars as well. And before I end this video, I just would like to say, like, if you have an option to try the performance version, just try it. Just feel what the car have to offer. It's just mind-blowing how quick that is. It's just something which you have to try to believe. Well, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.